Hello and welcome to another tutorial. Today we are going to be looking at how to automate your channel points redemptions to activate snap camera filters such as Shrek without any user interaction. And just to let you know that links for everything you will need is in the description, and there are timestamps as well, so you can skip to the chapters you need in case you already have set up some other things. Anyway, without further ado, let's get into it. Now, step one obviously is to download all the software we need. We need Snap Camera obviously because this whole video is based on Snap Camera. I'm not going to show you how to install it and set it up though. It's reasonably straightforward. And if you're watching how to automate Snap Camera, the chances are you've already got the software installed and you're already using it. If you do have any problems setting it up, feel free to leave a comment and I'll try and get back to you and help you through that. And the second thing we'll need is something called streamer.bot. And of course, once you get to the website, all you need to do is scroll down a little bit and click streamer.bot and download a zip file, unzip that wherever you like, desktop, program files, just somewhere that makes sense for you and that you'll remember. And that's it. That's all the software we'll need. Now let's get into setting up Snap Camera so that it can be automated. Okay, so now we are in the Snap Camera, and assuming you've been able to set up the program correctly, you should be able to see your camera preview. And there are a few things we need to set up in here before we can start automating. The first thing we're going to do is to go to this cog and scroll down to hotkeys. You have to set a shortcut for turn lens on or off. You don't have to set one for trigger lens effect, but if you have any filters which uses the trigger lens effect property, you will have to set something here, otherwise you won't be able to use it. And don't always just use Control K and L just because I used it. Make sure it works for you. This computer is only for OBS when I stream. This is my streaming computer, so nothing else runs on this when I stream. So it's a bit more flexible for me what keys I can use. But if you are running a game, let's say, or a browser or other programs when you're streaming, you will need to test and make sure that this is not a shortcut key in any of the other programs you use on the stream, just in case there's a clash. But for me, it's Control K and Control L, so set your keys appropriately. Then the next thing we'll need to do is to add some filters into our favorites. So how do we do that? This is the featured part, but you can also use the search. And whenever you find filters that you like, you can press this little star icon on the top left. If it's not in your favorites, it will be blank. And when you point at it, it will be white. Once you've clicked on it, it will turn gold and it will always look gold. And that corresponds to this little gold star on the top left, which says favorites. So we'll click the gold star. Once you've added them all in, I've got 9 here that I regularly use on stream. And once you've added them, they will appear here. And all you need to do then is to click on this little sort of keyboard looking button, which says lens hotkeys. And this will allow you to assign hotkeys for each filter, but they only assign hotkeys to the ones in your favorites. So you must make sure the filters you want are in your favorites. It's very important, otherwise it wouldn't work. So for me, again, I've set it to Control 1 to Control 9. But that probably won't work for you. I'm pretty sure on some browsers, Control 1 to Control 9 actually switches tabs. You also might clash with games, because if you switch weapons or whatever, if you press Control 1, you start ducking and probably change weapon. So this would be terrible if you do anything on the machine except from stream. So don't follow my shortcuts. These are just the ones that work for me. You'll have to find ones that doesn't clash with anything else on your own machine. But make sure that for any shortcut, it has to have a modifier key. What does that mean? Well, it means it has to be Shift, Control, or Alt combined with another key. It can't just be, say, 1 to 9 itself. You have to press one of the Alt, Control, and Shift kind of keys in order to have a combination. So once this is all set, without automating, I can show you what it does. So if I press Control, let me go to the, so Control 1 is my cool glasses and it will load up. And then Control 2 is Shrek. And if I manually press that on my keyboard, it will change. And if I press Control K, it will turn the shortcuts off. So make sure you test this first to make sure you've set the keys correctly and that it doesn't clash with anything else. Once this is all working, we can then move on to the next part, which is to set up streamer.bot. To open streamer.bot, all you need to do is navigate to the folder you unzipped streamer.bot into and look for the item with purple and teal icon, and the file type is application. Yours might say streamer.bot.exe, or it might say streamer.bot if you do not have file extensions shown, and that's by default it isn't. So it's most likely to say streamer.bot rather than streamer.bot.exe. But once you see that this icon, and make sure it's type application, run it, and this program should show up. It might take a little longer than that for you to open, so if you don't see anything immediately, wait 15-20 seconds for it to show up. It might have to be loading some things in the background before it shows up. So the first thing we'll do once the program opens is go into Platforms. So from Viewers tab, go to Platforms tab. Make sure Twitch is selected. And then we'll go across to the Accounts tab. Click on that. And you will see this section, Broadcaster Account. Make sure you are working on the Broadcaster account and not bot account. That's very important. And then here, you don't need to enter your username. You can't actually change this box. All you need to do is click the top button here in the Broadcaster section called Connect to Twitch. And once you've clicked it, it will come up and ask you to log in to your Twitch account. Make sure you're using the channel that you actually stream from and not your bot account or any other accounts you have on Twitch. You have to use the one that you are actually broadcasting from. For me, that's Chocolate, so I typed in my username and password, and then a box will come up asking if I authorize Twitch, streamer.bot even, to use certain features of the Twitch API. You have to authorize it in order for this to work. So click on authorize, and you should be done. Your username will show here. Make sure you tick auto connect and auto reconnect as well, so that if anything happens to the connection at any point, it will automatically reconnect for you, so the redeems will always work. Now that's done, we can go into our channel points rewards section and see that all our channel point rewards are shown here. If you don't see anything here and you do indeed have channel point rewards already set on Twitch, then something is not right. You might have to disconnect and reconnect again. Otherwise, if you see everything here, then we are good to go. So we will then head to the Action Queues part and then click on the Queues tab, and you will see just one called Default. We need to add one for our Snap Camera filters. So we'll right click any of the empty space in the middle here and press Add, and we'll call ours Snap Camera Filters. Make sure blocking is on. That is extremely important. Otherwise, you will encounter problems later. I'll talk more about it. But for now, just make sure blocking is on and press OK. And you will see a new item has been added to the list. Snap Camera Filters. Blocking, yes. So that's done. Then we'll move on to the Actions tab. Now here is where we actually add all the shortcut keys and actions into into the streamer.bot program. So we're gonna right click. It says right click to add actions. That's exactly what we want. So we'll right click and add a new action. But you might think we are about to add the control 1 to 9 right now, but actually we're not, because we need a way to time how long the action lasts for and then turn off the filter, because it will automatically activate, but you need to wait a certain amount of time. On my stream it's 2 minutes, the filter activates for 2 minutes and then it will automatically deactivate. And if somebody else has redeemed something during those 2 minutes, it will automatically activate again afterwards. But if no one redeems anything during those 2 minutes, it will just turn off and it will return to normal. So we need to program that in first before we start selecting different filters. So this one we will call Snap Camera Disable. Make sure it's enabled. I know I just said disabled and enabled in a row, so that's kind of counterintuitive. But snap camera disable is the name, but make sure this action is ticked and enabled. It doesn't need to be in a group, although if you want to, we can do snap camera global functions. You'll see why I'm saying global function later. And the queue, we just want this in the default queue. We don't need the other queue yet. And I think that's everything. So we will press OK, and we'll see the section snap camera global function has one action in it called snap camera disable. It is enabled, but there are no sub actions, so we need to add some in. So let's do that. We will right click the sub action section, click add sub action. The first thing we want to do is to count 2 minutes. So we will go to the delay option, which is the second option. And for the delay, this is in milliseconds. So that's 120,000 milliseconds is 2 minutes. And we'll press OK. Now you can set this to whatever you like. You don't have to set it to 2 minutes. Just set it to whatever you feel is appropriate, or random if you'd like. And then we'll press OK. So the first thing this action will do is to wait 2 minutes. And then we'll add another sub action, and we will go to keyboard press. So it waits 2 minutes, and now we need to turn off the filters. And Control K is the shortcut key to turn the lens on and off. So we will go to key, find K, and then we will press Control as the modifier as well, and then we'll press OK. So now this action delays for 2 minutes and then presses Control K. This is an action we will need for every single filter, which is why we've done this first, because in streamer.bot you can actually put one action inside another action. So by doing this, we don't have to program the delay and program the keyboard press every time. We can just say, do snap camera disable from another action. It might be a bit complicated sounding right now. You'll see it's really easy and really efficient later on. So now this is done, we can start adding the individual filters. So let's go to add, and we will say cool glasses, which is my first channel point, my control 1 basically. So we'll do this one first. Cool glasses enabled, and the group we will say snap camera filters, and the queue we will also select snap camera filters. Note that the queue is the action queue we set up earlier. Group is just for you to identify different types of actions in the actions tab. So the one we set up earlier is the queue. The group is just identification in the actions tab. So you can set this to whatever you like, and then we'll press OK. And you will see a new section called snap camera filters called cool glasses. Now the first thing we want to do when we activate this function is to enable that filter. The interesting thing I found is that you do not have to activate a lens once you've selected it. When you select it, it automatically activates. So all we need to do is to press Control 1. We do not have to press Control K. So what we can do in the sub actions, make sure cool glasses is selected, right click sub actions, add a sub action keyboard press, because we want to press Control 1. So in here, just select 1, tick Control, and press OK. So that is the first thing we do. Now the next thing is to wait 2 minutes and disable it. But remember, we did that function earlier called snap camera disable. So inside cool glasses, again, make sure cool glasses is selected, and we can right click, add sub action, and you should find one called action, and it is actions right here. And then we can say run action, and it will say no action selected. Click on this button, and you will see you can select any actions that has already been defined. We will click on snap camera disable and select it. Make sure run action immediately is ticked and press OK. So now this one is set up whenever we redeem cool glasses, keyboard press Control 1 will trigger, and then it will trigger the snap camera disable by waiting for 2 minutes, and then it will press Control K, which will disable the filter. So that's basically how to add it. Let me add one more for you, just in case you are not sure about some things. So we will add another action, and this one we'll call it Shrek. And a group, of course, we will continue to select snap camera filters, and the cue will still be snap camera filters. Make sure it's enabled, press OK. And now we can add a sub action with keyboard press of Control 2, because that's the one bound to Shrek, and we'll press OK. And now we need to also add the action disable, snap camera disable as well after it, and press OK, and voila, we are all sorted. So now let's go and have a look and see how this works in the channel points redeems by going back to the platforms tab, and you'll see all of my redeems here, and you can see there's an action column, but it's empty right now. So we will look for the cool glasses redeem, which is where is it? Shiny glasses. That's actually named differently. It doesn't have to be named the same, at least in the case of streamer.bot. In touch portal, you have to use the same name, but yeah, I'll talk about it later. Anyway, in here you just find the redeem that corresponds to the particular action, right click it and say set action, and now you can see cool glasses as one of my actions. Press select, and you can see it tells you in the actions column, when someone redeems shiny glasses, the cool glasses activates. And we will also do Shrek, which is just underneath. How convenient. Right click, set action, Shrek, select. And that's it. For however many redeems you've done in the actions tab, just make sure in the platforms channel point rewards section you've got it all selected, and that's all you need. So now we can go to Twitch and we can test it. Once your Twitch chat is open, and I've got Snap Camera next to it as well, just as a preview, we can start testing it. So if we go to our channel points and redeem shiny glasses, you will see that it immediately activates and shiny glasses is ready. But this is the cool part. If we go and redeem Shrek now as well, it won't activate Shrek as well, because we've ticked the blocking thing earlier in streamer.bot. If we go to action cues, this snap camera filters is blocking. What that means is when one thing is running in the queue, anything else in the same queue, action queue, will not trigger until the previous one is finished. So you can see shiny glasses was 30 seconds ended, and it's come up now, and yes, I set it to 30 seconds so that you don't have to wait 2 minutes for the whole thing to be demonstrated. And now Shrek is open, and if I talk for another 30 seconds, Shrek will automatically deactivate and it'll be done. So that's pretty much how you set up automation for channel point redeems. It is possible to use this program to make your channel point redeems do many other different things. Basically anything with keyboard shortcuts you can do. There are loads of other functions as well. Obviously, that's beyond the scope of this video. If there's any particular thing you want to try and achieve in streamer.bot, let me know in a comment and I'll see if I can make a video about it. And that's pretty much it. I will talk a little bit about Touch Portal right now as a side note for anyone who might be using Touch Portal already and don't want to change because they might be using their phone or their tablet as a Stream Deck type thing. So let's have a look at Touch Portal just briefly. For Touch Portal users, in the Events tab, you should be able to add new events. And it's basically the same thing. You have to type a name for it, and then the event, you have to select a Twitch event. And there is a on channel points redeemed one. And here, when channel points are redeemed for ID, this is the name of the redemption in Twitch. So you must set this to the same as the name on Twitch. But for everything else, it's pretty self-explanatory. Just the name, for the name at the top here, you can type anything you like. And of course, there is a cooldown time. And then for the Q lane, these are not nameable, it's just numbers. So set it to a particular Q lane, but make sure every single filter is set to the same Q lane. And and let me cancel out also to let you know there's a possibility of setting sub actions here as well. So you can go to flows and add a new flow, and this flow is wait for 2 minutes and then press Ctrl K. Make sure you use low level key press and not the normal virtual key press. Virtual key press will just press the key for whatever program is currently in focus. So if you have anything but Snap Camera open, it will not work. So you must do the low level key press, which will be global. Every single program will receive it. And so you must do it like this. So once you've set up this flow, if you have a look at one of my actions, so let's say the Shrek one, you will see that it will first press Ctrl 2 to activate it. Then it will execute flow, enable and disable Snap Camera. So it's basically exactly the same principle as streamer.bot. It's just the buttons are in a different place and the descriptions may be slightly different, but it's pretty much self-explanatory. If you can do it in the streamer.bot, you can do it in here. So if you've already paid for this app and you use it for other things as well, feel free to do it this way. And yeah, that's pretty much how to set everything up. That concludes this tutorial. If you enjoyed it or if you found this video helpful, please do leave a like. It does help the channel a lot. If you have any questions or any suggestions on future topics you'd like to see covered, please do leave me a comment. I will have a look and possibly help you out with any problems you have. And also, if enough people ask for a certain topic, then I will prioritize those topics to make videos sooner for you. Because obviously all of these tutorials are for you to learn about how to improve your streams. So if there's particular topics that people want to know about, I would be more than happy to specifically target those areas. And hope you have a wonderful rest of the week. Happy streaming, and I will see you all soon. Goodbye.